How ironic is it that something so famous yet hidden exists among the most celebrated tourist attractions in the world? It's even more shocking that there are secret structures obscure from plain sights. Travelers are always looking for inspiration to guide their adventures, ranging from the Eiffel Tower in Paris to the Statue of Liberty in New York City. If you're planning to visit any of these attractions, you might also be on the lookout for secret hidden structures which make it even more adventurous. Keep watching as we uncover the unexpected and unique hideaways in some of the world's most well-known landmarks. Before we begin, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn notifications on so you don't miss any of the new content that we post. First, we have the CN Tower in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. The CN Tower, 553.3 meters, held the record for the world's tallest freestanding structure for 32 years, even after losing its crown as the world's tallest to Burj Khalifa, 829.8 meters, in Dubai in 2007. The CN Tower still has more than 1.5 million people visit it per year. Basically, the CN Tower was intended to be just a transmission tower, but the designers and engineers started to have bigger dreams. They added elevators, viewing platforms, restaurants, stores, activities, and made it into one of Canada's top tourist attractions. While many people frequent the restaurant at the top of the tower, only a few people are aware of the 360 Restaurant's wine cellar, which holds the Guinness World Record for being the world's highest. Wait, there's more! It might look like a typical wine cellar, but what's interesting is the 9,000 bottles of wine stored within the climate and humidity-controlled cellar. Also, the restaurant has a wine preservation system to offer a varying selection of exclusive wines by the glass. This room is a peculiar attraction for wine lovers. Next is the Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower is one of the world's most recognizable landmarks. It's quite surprising that despite the over 300 million visitors the tower receives each year, there are still secrets to tell about it. Before we uncover this little secret, do you ever wonder why the Eiffel Tower is in almost every photo taken of the Paris skyline and in almost every film set in this city? Well, here's why. The Eiffel Tower was a contemporary artistic structure that was considered crazy at the time of construction. It's amazing that here we are over 100 years later still visiting it today. So, here's the secret. There's a private apartment at the top. When this famous tower was designed by Gustave Eiffel, he artfully included a cozy private apartment for himself on the third level of the tower, furnished with wooden effects, oil paintings, and patterned wallpaper for a complete look. Gustave was said to have hosted famous guests like Thomas Edison. The apartment is now open for the public to tour. Next up is Lincoln Memorial, Washington, D.C., USA. The iconic memorial, built to honor the 16th U.S. president, is a must-see for every visitor to the nation's capital. The memorial is part of the larger National Mall that includes the reflecting pool, the Washington Monument, and the U.S. Capitol. Wonder what hidden structure could be hidden within a monument? Here's your answer. Ascend the 145 white marble steps at the Lincoln Memorial. Step forward into the shrine room with the seated Great Emancipator, and then direct your gaze down at the floor. Unseen beneath the Tennessee pink marble floor lies a cavernous 3-story, 43,800 square foot basement with architecture that wouldn't look out of place in a World War II bunker. One other interesting find was historical graffiti from way back in 1914. Funny how a group of builders actually drew cartoons, and they have them covered in plexiglass. Next is the Grand Central Terminal, New York City, USA. It's about trains, obviously, but it is also about fine dining, entertainment, shopping, history, luxury, and super fun. On February 2nd, 1913, Cornelius Vanderbilt's vision became a reality when architect Whitney Warren's magnificent Grand Central Terminal was open for business. Today, Grand Central hosts over 750,000 visitors and tourists daily. A classified transportation platform in New York at a swanky hotel? Say it isn't so. Under the Waldorf Astoria Hotel is an abandoned platform and track. Legend has it the platform once transported VIPs, including Franklin Delano Roosevelt, Adlai Stevenson, and General Pershing, among others, to waiting automobiles or private rail cars. The platform allowed the Waldorf Astoria guests a way to escape and avoid the eyes of the press. That's not all. Many tourists that rush through the station are not aware of the Vanderbilt Tennis Club on the 4th floor overlooking Park Avenue. So it's true that there's actually more than meets the eye. How about the Empire State Building, New York City, USA? From its rich history and unique design, the landmark is New York's can't-miss experience. The Empire State Building, the 84-year-old iconic building, is still dominating the cityscape, and it is both a New York City and a U.S. National Historic Landmark. While most visitors enjoy the views from the building's 86th and 102nd floor observatories, there's another reserved only for VIPs, dignitaries, and celebrities, the 103rd floor. While the publicly accessible floors have safety measures to ensure that nobody can possibly fall from the iconic building, the 103rd floor has just a small knee-high ledge topped with a low railing. Next is the Statue of Liberty, New York City, USA. Ever dreamt of climbing the Statue of Liberty? Millions of people visit the Statue of Liberty annually. It's the dream of many tourists to step inside the structure's crown to enjoy the extraordinary scenery of New York City. Being one of the most recognizable icons of the United States throughout the world, many might be unaware that it is possible to climb higher within the structure. Until June 30th, 1916, tourists were able to enter a room located inside the Statue of Liberty's torch, which offered breathtaking panoramic views of the city. Here's a real shocker. The actual name of the statue is Liberty and Lightning of the World. The Statue of Liberty is only a nickname. Up next is Mount Rushmore, South Dakota, USA. Next, we have the famous Mount Rushmore National Memorial. Curious about what could be hidden behind the faces of 4 legendary American presidents carved into granite? Well, you're not alone. It's a shocking discovery. There's a small room with only enough space to fit a handful of visitors. This room is located behind the head of Abraham Lincoln. It's too tough to reach by foot, but inside you'll find copies of the Declaration of Independence, Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. When it was built by Gutzon Borglum, this chamber behind Abraham Lincoln's head was meant to hold the documents and artifacts most significant to American history, like the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. And though most important papers are located elsewhere today, the unfinished hall does house a repository of records that tell how and why Mount Rushmore came into existence. Next, we have the Supreme Court, Washington, D.C., USA. Imagine a group of judges and their clerks fully dressed in their robes and getting a run-in right in the building of the Supreme Court. Sounds like a great fairy tale, right? It's not. This just so happens to be a court even higher than the U.S. Supreme Court, a basketball court in the building itself. The U.S. Supreme Court has always been known as the highest court of the land. But there's one more court that sits even above the Supreme Court. Literally, a basketball court. Near the entrance, a sign warns playing basketball and weightlifting are prohibited while court is in session. Unfortunately, the highest court is not open to the public. However, if you listen close enough while in the courtroom, you just might hear the squeaking of shoes and the dribble of a basketball. Next is the Taj Mahal, India. This is undoubtedly one of the most recognizable monuments in the world. The entire complex consists of the famous white mausoleum, a reflecting pool, and lush gardens, among other buildings. It was built by Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan in memory of his third wife, Mumtaz Mahal. In Arabic, the Taj Mahal is known as the Crown of Palaces. Inside the remarkable structure lie the cenotaphs of Mumtaz Mahal and Shah Jahan, though many visitors don't know that these in fact are false tombs. The real tombs lie beneath at garden level and are off limits to the public. It's not surprising that the Taj Mahal is one of the most beloved monuments in history and is notably one of the wonders of the world. What about the Burj Khalifa, Dubai, UAE? We all know that the Burj Khalifa is the tallest building in the world. There's no hiding the fact as it dominates the Dubai skyline. The cloud-piercing height is certainly one of the most impressive facts about Burj Khalifa. The Burj Khalifa height is a staggering 828 meters, 2,716.5 feet tall. soaring over Dubai. It's 3 times as tall as the Eiffel Tower and nearly twice as tall as the Empire State Building. Indeed, you might have heard about the Burj Khalifa suite residences, the Armani Hotel, corporate suites, 5 swimming pools, health club, and spa. What many people don't know, however, is that the record-breaking building is also home to a private library on level 123. That's where the highest library in the world is located. Lastly, we have the Brooklyn Bridge, New York. As an iconic New York City fixture, it's frequented by tourists all year round, but the span offers much more than just stunning views. With a history dating back to the late 1880s, it holds a slew of surprising secrets. There's a hidden wine cellar within the Brooklyn Bridge. That might sound impossible, but it's true. It might sound obvious, but the interior of the bases of the Brooklyn Bridge actually made for perfect wine cellars. Storing wine under the bridge made perfect sense. The caverns below the 60,000-ton granite entrances were dark and consistently cool, ideal places to house even the most delicate vintage Bordeaux, Burgundy, or Champagne. And as the vaults became home to wines from across the globe, the dingy walls of the cellars were enhanced to reflect that heritage. Want to see one for yourself? That would be fun, although today the cellars remain mostly empty. On your next trip, you might want to consider paying a visit to one of the world's most visited tourist attractions. And now, you'll experience an adventure as you uncover more secret places in famous places. Thanks for watching this video.